Wake Forest went 4-8 last year. Jake Dickert is coming in to try and fix this program. They're looking to start 12 transfers. So as he came in, he hit the portal hard to find new starters. No one will be more important than Robby Ashford transferring in from South Carolina to get another chance to start at a Power 4 school. He was the backup there last year, very fast, not much of a passer. Scroll down a little bit, please, Sanders. Dickert's offensive MO is a strong passing attack, which is why I think it's a little interesting they bring in Robby Ashford to lead that, because I already mentioned he's not much of a passer. In his 1 year where he started a bunch, he completed 49.2% of his passes at Auburn. So just really not great. Now, that was a couple years ago, so maybe we've seen progression. But thoughts on Robby Ashford's ability to lead a passing attack? Or do you think they'll pivot and just try and play to his strengths?
Well, video game him can lead a passing attack.
Okay.
He threw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns against me in a dynasty game this year as the Wake Forest quarterback. But in real life, I don't expect it at all.
Me either.
Robby Ashford is the perfect quarterback to have for a 2-quarterback team, being the running threat.
Yeah.
Because he is super talented at that. But him as a passer, I don't see it. And odds makers don't see it either. They are tied for the same odds to win the ACC as Stanford.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look for Wake Forest and the Demon Deacons. And Robby Ashford is probably a large part of that because of his lack of ability to throw the football. It's something I fear for quarterbacks that are just too run dependent. If they don't have any version of a passing game, how well can they really be?
Doesn't matter if you're really fast.
Yeah, think of Nate Johnson with his years at Vanderbilt. Think of Mike Wright even.
Yeah.
Not to put him on that pedestal. Devin Dampier is something that it fears me with Utah and that team this year.
Sure.
Although he's shown more passing ability than Robby. I don't expect the Demon Deacons to be good because I just don't expect Robby to be good for this team, although he is a name because he played for Auburn and South Carolina so far. So I think that's the only part that makes him a topic of discussion.
Yeah.
It's just because he played at these schools before.
Sure.
That doesn't necessarily mean the talent is there.
Yeah. Their defense also isn't great either. Opponents completed 70.3% of their passes against them last year, which was second worst in the FBS. Do y'all want to take a guess who is the worst team in that metric in
I've
the
already
FBS?
guessed. You're overthinking it, JP.
What was the stat again?
Allowed 70.3% completion percentage against opponents. Who was the worst? That was the second worst.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Indeed, at 70.4% allowed. So pretty bad. Y'all can attest that State's defense wasn't good last year.
Swiss cheese.
Wake Forest wasn't either. And they don't necessarily bring in a ton of talent to fix that. If the best player on this team, in my opinion, is Damon Claiborne out of the backfield. Rushed for over 1,000 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. He's very, very good. So maybe the passing attack, or not the passing, sorry, the rushing attack is really just that potent. But I don't really expect their defense to get much better. Their best defensive player is Nick Anderson at safety, who had 122 total tackles and 2 interceptions last year. And then from a name standpoint, I want to shout out Karate Brinson. Is transferring in from Tennessee State. He had 963 yards and 6 touchdowns there last year. And he'll have to be an impact player if they have any hopes of being good. But yeah, new coach, bad defense last year, bad offense last year. They're trusting Robby Ashford to turn this thing around, and the win total's at 4.5. Over or under, JP?
Schubert. I'm going to take the over. I think they'll win 2 ACC games this year, and I expect them to beat, although I love them, the Kennesaw State Owls. And I expect them to beat, although I do like them because one of my travel ball basketball buddies plays tight end there, the Western Carolina Lions or something. I expect them to beat them. And then I expect them to beat, although I do love them, the new Division I FBS Delaware.
The Blue Hens.
Blue Hens. I do think they'll get 2 ACC wins this year somewhere. I think Ashford could go off for them. Devin Claiborne can have a good enough game. They have an avenue to win
Sure.
games.
Or they just go beat Oregon State, then they just got to win one ACC game.
Exactly, and I don't expect them necessarily to do that, but
Sure.
we'll see. But I think they have an avenue with Devin Claiborne and Robby Ashford of, okay, what if we just run for 500 yards? What are you going to do? So I think it helps them more than it helps. You look at Stanford. Stanford doesn't have an avenue to win games outside of just having better talent than the other team. So I think Wake has a chance to get to 5 wins, and I think they will.
I'm also going to take the over kind of for similar reasons. It's like Claiborne is good enough, and Ashford is a good enough runner that if they can just have the damn burst against a couple teams and just run for a couple hundred yards, they can pick up the win, a couple wins there. And it's not like the ACC is so good where there's not going to be teams they can do that against. So I'll take the over, but the over at like 5. I don't really see a bowl game for this team, but
I was leaning under, and then y'all kind of talked me into over, which is the ground game.
lame.
Yeah, fine. I'll go under then.
Perfect.
Why?
Screw y'all. No. I don't know that I trust Robby Ashford to be able to lead the offense. I don't think we've seen him lead an offense previously. He was not able to really lead that offense at Auburn successfully, so that's why, is lack of trust in him.
But we're in the ACC now.
We are in the ACC now, but you still have to have good quarterback play in the ACC.
Doesn't have good weapons either, I will say.
Yeah.
But